In a room, three of history's greatest thinkers have gathered to debate a question that has spanned centuries: the existence and nature of God. St. Augustine begins the discussion. God is absolute perfection, the first cause of all things. He is the essence of goodness, and the source of all morality and order in the universe. Everything that exists was created by God, and therefore carries an inherent divine purpose. Baruch Spinoza responds thoughtfully, "Augustine, I respect your view, but I see God differently. To me, God is not a personal or conscious being. God is nature itself. Everything that exists is God, and God is everything that exists. The idea of a God who directly intervenes in human affairs is a projection of our own limitations." Friedrich Nietzsche interjects, challenging, "You are trapped in old illusions. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. The concept of God is a human invention, a response to our weaknesses and fears. Belief in God is a form of control that limits human potential. We need to surpass the need for any deity and take full responsibility for creating our own values and meanings." In a world filled with diverse beliefs and ideas, the question about the existence and nature of God is one of the most intriguing and challenging that humanity has ever faced. St. Augustine, Spinoza, and Nietzsche each offer a unique perspective that can transform the way you view life, morality, and the universe. Who is right? Today we'll try to find out. Before we delve into the ideas of these three philosophers, I want to clarify that my goal here is not to question or deny any religious belief. I deeply respect all opinions and everyone's faith. This video is a philosophical exploration, aimed at understanding how great thinkers have interpreted fundamental questions about human existence. I invite you to keep an open mind and consider these ideas as an opportunity to broaden your perspective. God is absolute perfection, the first cause of all things. St. Augustine. For St. Augustine, God is not just central in Christian cosmology. He is the essence of perfection and the source of all morality and order in the universe. In this view, everything that exists was created by God and thus carries an inherent divine purpose. Augustine saw evil not as a substance or independent entity, but as a mere absence of good. He often compared this concept to the relationship between light and darkness. Imagine a room lit by sunlight through a window. The darkness we see in the shadows is not a presence but an absence of light. Similarly, Augustine saw evil as the shadow in a world illuminated by the goodness of God. Thus, all that is good and perfect comes from God, and evil emerges only when we distance ourselves from this divine perfection. Living during the tumultuous period of the decline of the Roman Empire, Augustine found in his faith a source of stability and hope. His works, like Confessions and The City of God, reflect his search for a higher order amidst earthly chaos. He offered a vision that even in the darkest moments, the divine order and providence remained unshakable. To illustrate Augustine's view of creation, imagine an ancient clock meticulously assembled. Each gear, no matter how small, is vital for the precision and functioning of the whole. Similarly, Augustine saw the universe as a divinely calibrated machine, where each element plays its role determined by God. However, this confronts us with a persistent enigma. If God is perfect and all-powerful, why then do evil and suffering still exist? Augustine argued that our limited human capacity often fails to comprehend the divine plan in its entirety. He suggested that even apparent evils serve greater purposes that can only be fully understood from an eternal perspective. While St. Augustine presents a vision of God rooted in Christian tradition, with a clear structure of order and purpose, the next philosopher we will explore takes us down a radically different path. Baruch Spinoza challenges the traditional notion of a personal God and introduces an idea where God and nature are indistinguishable. God is nature itself and not a conscious being. Baruch Spinoza. Spinoza, a 17th century Dutch philosopher of Portuguese Jewish origin, emerged as a singular voice in a period of profound transformations. The 17th century in Europe was marked by a scientific and intellectual revolution, with figures like Galileo and Descartes challenging the boundaries of human knowledge and questioning accepted truths. This period also saw the rise of rationalism, with science beginning to unravel the mysteries of the universe through empirical and logical methods. Against this backdrop, Spinoza proposed a radically different idea of God. He rejected the notion of a personal, interventionist God in favor of a conception where God and nature are indistinguishable. For him, God was everything that exists, and everything that exists is God. His pantheistic philosophy suggested that the universe and God are one and the same entity, a view that placed the laws of nature at the center of divine existence. Spinoza argued that the idea of a personal God, who intervenes directly in human affairs, was a projection of our own limitations. Instead, he saw God as an infinite substance that manifests in infinite forms. God, for Spinoza, is the force that governs the laws of nature, but does not possess consciousness or intention. Imagine a river flowing. The river does not choose its path. It follows the laws of physics, gravity, and the characteristics of the terrain it passes through. Similarly, God, in Spinoza's view, is the force that governs the flow of nature, without consciousness or will of its own. This perspective leads us to reflect on the nature of the divine in a completely new way. If God is nature itself, where do we find the meaning of life and morality? Are the ethics and values we follow simply products of our interaction with this impersonal force? Spinoza challenges us to look beyond the boundaries of anthropocentrism, to recognize that our search for a personal God might be more a projection of our human needs than a divine reality. This leads us to a deeper understanding of our place in the universe, and perhaps to greater humility before the natural forces that surround us. Spinoza leads us to question the existence of a traditional God, paving the way for an even more radical critique of the idea of divinity, Nietzsche's critique. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. With this provocative statement, Friedrich Nietzsche shakes the beliefs of his time. Nietzsche is perhaps the most provocative of the three thinkers. He argued that God is a human creation, a response to our own weaknesses and fears. For Nietzsche, belief in God was a way to make sense of a chaotic and unpredictable world. Born in Prussia in 1844, Nietzsche lived in an era marked by intense social and intellectual changes. The 19th century was a period of growing disillusionment with traditional narratives, both religious and political. Amidst this era of questioning, Nietzsche proposed a philosophical revolution through his works, such as Thus Spoke Zarathustra, where he unfolds his ideas about overcoming established values and presents many of his thoughts on the death of God and the birth of the Übermensch. In contrast to St. Augustine's thought and Spinoza's pantheistic view, Nietzsche saw the death of God as a necessary awakening, an essential step for human emancipation from the metaphysical chains that limited growth and authentic expression of the individual. He introduced the idea of the Übermensch, the Superman, who would be the creator of new values in the absence of a divine order. This Superman would not be confined by notions of good and evil imposed by a transcendent authority. Instead, he would be a forger of values based on earthly life and its potentialities. Nietzsche described this transformation as true freedom, emerging as autonomous creators, responsible for giving meaning and direction to our own lives. While Spinoza dissolved the distinction between God and nature, suggesting a divinity immanent in all things, Nietzsche went further, proposing that humanity should transcend the idea of any divinity. What I am telling is the story of the next 2 centuries, he wrote about the impact the death of God would have on civilization, foretelling a period where man would face the nothing and the absence of external moral order. As we explore these concepts from the three philosophers, we are provoked to reflect, what do these different visions of God reveal about our own search for meaning in the universe? Ultimately, who is right? Faced with the divergent views of St. Augustine, Spinoza, and Nietzsche on God and the nature of divinity, we are led to deeply ponder the implications of each perspective. St. Augustine presents a perfect and transcendent God, creator and orderer of the universe, who is intimately linked to human morality and purpose. Spinoza, on the other hand, offers us a view where God and nature are indistinct, proposing an immanent divinity that permeates everything that exists, challenging us to see the divine in every aspect of the physical world. Nietzsche, taking the debate to a new level, questions the very existence of a divine being and suggests that humanity must transcend the need for any deity, taking full responsibility for creating new values and meanings. Each philosopher, with their unique perspective, invites us to explore different aspects of our relationship with the divine and morality. The question of who is right does not find a simple answer, as each view reflects different facets of the human quest for meaning and structure in the universe. Perhaps the real question is not who is right, but how each of these perspectives can illuminate different parts of the human enigma and help us live in a more conscious and authentic way. Who is right? Perhaps all of them, capturing different aspects of our search for meaning. It may be that we are born with an inclination to seek a higher meaning, whether it is a perfect being, a natural force, or a creation of our own mind. Society, through education and experiences, shapes and directs these inclinations. Instead of seeking a definitive answer, perhaps true wisdom lies in recognizing the validity of multiple perspectives and in continuing our quest for understanding and truth. Perhaps the right answer for you is not the same as for someone else, and that is part of the beauty of philosophy. It offers us a mirror to reflect on our own beliefs and to better understand the world around us. Wisdom may lie in recognizing that there is not one single answer, but a diversity of paths that all can lead to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. I want to hear from you. What insights does each philosopher bring to your life? How do their ideas resonate or challenge your own beliefs? I'll leave a video about the God of Spinoza here on the screen. Subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video.